Once upon a time, there was a beautiful lake nestled in the Scottish Highlands, surrounded by rolling green hills and tall trees. This lake was known as Loch Ness, and it was said to be home to a legendary creature, the Loch Ness Monster. The locals had many tales about the monster, who they believed to be a massive, serpent-like creature that lurked in the depths of the lake, only revealing itself to a select few who were lucky enough to catch a glimpse. Many had tried to find the creature, but none had succeeded. One day, a young boy named Aiden decided he was going to be the one to discover the truth about the Loch Ness Monster. Aiden was an adventurous boy, and he loved nothing more than exploring the hills and forests around his home. He knew that if anyone could find the monster, it was him. Aiden packed his backpack with everything he would need for his expedition: food, water, a map, and his trusty binoculars. He set off early in the morning, eager to begin his search. As he walked along the shore of the lake, Aiden scanned the water with his binoculars, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. But the water was still and quiet, and there was no sign of the monster. Undeterred, Aiden decided to take a closer look. He climbed into a small boat and rowed out into the middle of the lake. The water was crystal clear, and he could see all the way to the bottom. But still, there was no sign of the Loch Ness Monster. Just as Aiden was about to give up, he heard a strange noise coming from the water. It sounded like a low, rumbling growl, and it was coming closer and closer. Aiden's heart raced as he peered over the side of the boat, trying to see what was making the noise. And then, suddenly, there it was, the Loch Ness Monster. Aiden couldn't believe his eyes. The monster was even more incredible than he had imagined. It was at least 30 feet long, with shiny green scales and glowing yellow eyes. Its long neck stretched out of the water, and it let out a deep, rumbling roar. Aiden watched in awe as the monster swam around the boat, circling him as if trying to decide whether or not to attack. But then, to Aiden's surprise, the monster began to play. It dove under the water, splashing Aiden with its massive tail. It leaped out of the water, performing somersaults and twists that left Aiden breathless. For hours, Aiden and the Loch Ness Monster played together, with Aiden laughing and shouting in delight as the creature performed its amazing tricks. And then, as the sun began to set over the hills, the monster swam away, disappearing into the depths of the lake. As Aiden was rowing back to shore, he realized that he had dropped his backpack in the excitement of playing with the Loch Ness Monster. He frantically searched the boat, but it was nowhere to be found. Aiden knew he couldn't leave without his backpack, so he decided to dive into the water to search for it. As he swam down, Aiden was amazed to see that the water was filled with all sorts of strange and wonderful creatures: giant squid, schools of shimmering fish, and even a family of mermaids. But as he searched deeper and deeper, Aiden began to feel like something was watching him. Suddenly, he heard a low growl, and he knew that the Loch Ness Monster was near. Aiden tried to swim back to the surface, but something was holding him down. He looked down and saw that the monster's massive tail had wrapped around his ankle, trapping him in the water. For a moment, Aiden was terrified, but then he remembered how the monster had played with him earlier. He realized that the monster wasn't trying to hurt him, it was trying to communicate with him. Aiden looked into the monster's glowing eyes, and he knew what he had to do. He reached out and took the monster's scaly hand, and the two of them began to swim together, deeper and deeper into the lake. As they swam, Aiden began to understand what the monster was saying to him. The Loch Ness Monster was a guardian of the lake, and it was worried about the damage that humans were doing to the environment. It had been trying to communicate this to humans for years, but no one had ever listened. Aiden listened carefully as the monster spoke, and he knew that he had to help. He promised the monster that he would tell everyone he knew about the importance of protecting the lake, and he would work to make sure that people understood the need to take care of the environment. Finally, the Loch Ness Monster released Aiden's ankle, and he swam back to the surface, gasping for air. As he climbed back into his boat, he realized that he had been changed forever by his encounter with the monster. He knew that he had a responsibility to protect the lake and all of its inhabitants, and he would do everything in his power to make sure that the Loch Ness Monster's message was heard. From that day on, Aiden became a fierce advocate for the environment, working tirelessly to educate others about the importance of conservation. And although many people still doubted his story about the Loch Ness Monster, Aiden knew that it didn't matter. He had seen the creature, and he had been given a mission to protect the lake and its inhabitants for generations to come.